Focus. Focus up. Talking to you, Gabriel, my little travel buddy. We'll talk about you a little bit later. Welcome to episode 118 of the Rubio Method. My name is Chris Rubio. Make sure you subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Share on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes, X, Instagram, and of course, TikTok. We've got a great show. Today's going to be just a kind of more of a casual show. I wanted to get an episode in before next week. I've been gone for a little bit, and I'm actually going to talk about that during this show. I'm not even going to give you the rundown. We're just going to jump right into it for episode 118. We're going to be jumping all over the place. Okay, so for everything happens for a reason. All right, so everything happens for a reason. Let's talk about this. Why have I been gone? Why have I been gone? Because for a lot of you that don't know, I also do football training camps, and those football training camps have taken me all over the place. I mean, I've gone to New Jersey, Dallas. I'll be going to Chicago, Pittsburgh, Salt Lake in the next couple of weeks, along with Vegas. I've also been to Los Angeles, Northern California, Charlotte, Atlanta, San Francisco, Seattle, all those places in just the past 8 or 9 weeks. And on these travels, obviously they take up a lot of time. So I don't have a lot of time to do things during the week, like either prep the show, which I'm trying to make it a little bit more casual now, not as much formal, because I seem to do better when I'm not thinking. I know there's a joke line in there somewhere, but the less I think, the better I do. I don't know if it's a nerves thing, because I'm not really nervous doing these, but it's one of those that I don't want to follow the script as much. And if I don't have a script, I literally just can't follow it. So I've been really busy. And then during the week when the show is, I just don't have time to do it, because I'm basically cleaning up all the stuff from the past camp and then getting ready stuff for the future camp. So for instance, like this weekend, I'll be in Nashville. Next week, I'll be wrapping up the Nashville camp, doing all the stuff that I had to do along with that camp. But then I'll also be getting ready for Pittsburgh and Chicago camps coming up. So it's one of those that there's not a lot of downtime. And if I do have any downtime, my youngest son's in baseball right now. And you guys know how I feel about baseball. And baseball takes up, let's just say, quite a bit of time. And it's one of those things that if baseball wasn't, let's say, as quick paced as it is, each one of his games is a double header. For those that don't know what a double header means, that means you play 2 games on one day. If you've never watched baseball, it's like watching paint dry. Of course, this is my opinion. I know a lot of people like it, and I'm starting to enjoy it a little bit more as the kids get better. And my youngest, he's I always say, unfortunately, he does well. And he has a position that plays second or short that gets the ball hit to him quite a bit. So it's fun to watch him actually get out there and do some things. And he's like I said, unfortunately / fortunately pretty good at it. So the best thing about my camps is not only obviously getting to teach these kids the art of football, snapping, and all that good stuff, is I enjoy traveling to meet other people and see different things, because the people where I live in Lewiston, Idaho, are completely different than the people, let's say, in Seattle, Washington, even though it's only 5 hours away. It's like a different world. And then if you go to Atlanta, Georgia, holy hell, it's completely different world. I mean, I was down there one time and I was asking, because it's very humid there. And I've told you guys before, I swear to God, I think I'm allergic to humidity, where I said, I was talking to a college girl who was there supporting her little brother. Where do you live? Is it humid where you live? She said, oh yeah, it's really humid. And we live below the gnat line. And I go, what the hell does that mean? Below the gnat line? She goes, gnats. And I go, like GN18? She goes, yeah. She goes, where there's a border line in the middle of Georgia, and below it or above it, one of them, I blocked it out since it was so disturbing. You just get nonstop gnats. Like you're driving and there's gnats on your window. And then you get above this mythical gnat line, and then there's no gnats. So I guess, but if you live below the gnat line where you are with the gnats, you're one with gnats, I guess you're closer to the coast. So that's the trade-off. You got gnats, but you got a slight offshore breeze, even though it's 1,000 degrees and a 500% humidity. So, I mean, I even asked, I said, like, so for chicks, do the gnats get stuck in your hair? Like, I'm thinking, hairspray and all that stuff obviously doesn't affect me. They said, oh yeah, that's a big time thing. I just don't get it. But if it's too hot, this is a big thing that every state does, because every state has their own little intricacies with weather, and it's good weather, it's bad weather, blah blah blah. Anytime you're in a state that has bad weather, just ask them, say, oh my God, is it always like this? Every single one, like clockwork, will say, oh man, you should have been here yesterday. Phenomenal. You won't believe how great the weather was yesterday. And you're here on a Sunday? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday supposed to be 68 degrees with an offshore breeze. You're just missing it, Rubio. You're missing it by just a couple days. Okay. And then they all have their different food worlds where if you go to the Midwest with Chicago, they're more power eaters where you get your, deep dish pizzas, all that good stuff. And you get the more not homegrown food. Whereas in the South, it's more home done, but they love to fry everything. And I love talking about it. I'll talk about food with them for hours, even at the camp. And I think the last thing they talked to me about was liver mash or liver mush. Because I was like, what is that? And they said, oh, you chop it. Because I think we were talking about spam, and we'll get to why I was talking about spam in a little bit. Yeah, you just got to get it. If you don't like it, you just fry it more. And I said, hey, man, you just can't keep frying things over and over. That just doesn't make it better. They're like, oh, Ruby, you just haven't had it right. Next time you're here, we'll do it and the weather will be better. You're just missed out. Okay. So on that, everyone always says, Rubio, what's your favorite state? Obviously, Idaho. Okay. Second favorite probably be Montana. Third favorite, this is going to shock people. I'm thinking New Jersey. I've become a big fan of New Jersey, and I can't tell. I mean, every time I do a camp there, it's always indoors, so the weather is not a factor for me because I don't like to be too cold and I don't like to be too hot. But where I have my camp is kind of on the shore, the Jersey Shore, basically. I've heard it's only like 5 minutes from me when I'm doing the camp. But here's what I like about Jersey. Number one, their food is incredible. Holy hell. I went to this one place the Shimko family took me to, and it was no bigger than hell, maybe a big living room. And then it sat probably 15 to 20 people. The menu, I'm not joking, was probably 5 pages long. It was easily, if you've ever been to Cheesecake Factory, I want you to double the Cheesecake Factory menu. So it was like this by this. For those listening on Spotify and iTunes, I'm basically doing like an 11 by 17 piece of paper. And the font on it, say normal newspaper font is, let's say 12. This font was like 8. And there must have been, I'm not joking, 700 to 800 items that you could order. And I'm not just saying bacon, egg, those are 2 different items. I'm talking 800 different meals. And I said, there's no way you guys can go through all these. And they said, oh, no one even tries. I said, is everything good? He goes, yeah, everything's good. And we got something. It was a mound of food, absolutely phenomenal. And so their food does not disappoint. That's just number one. And I think it comes back to my Italian culture where I was raised half Italian, where I wasn't raised half Italian. I'm half Italian, but I was raised by the Italian side. And everything's just sausages, cheeses, spices. Did I mention red sauce? Phenomenal, dripping with garlic. You're not making out with anyone after these meals. Just absolutely glorious. I love it. The second thing that I love about New Jersey is the people. Very loud, very in your face, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, and they come off very abrasive and almost aggressive, and I love it. Everyone, some people, it would, if you were introvert or kind of scared, you would hate it. For me, I grew up in that sort of environment where if you weren't yelling at someone, they thought you were mad. I mean, my wife alone, she will say like, why are you and your family yelling at each other? We're not, we're just talking. She goes, no, you're yelling. I go, well, you may call it yelling. We call it having a discussion. And so these people, because the next family I hang out in New Jersey is the Foggia family. And there's usually about 5 or 6 of them per room. In this room, it's always the kitchen, which all good Italian families are always hovering around the kitchen. There's enough food to probably feed their entire block at any time. Okay. You want to talk about food? They have a fountain, like Diet Pepsi, Diet Mountain Dew, Pepsi, iced tea, one of those things you see at, Subway. They have one in their garage. They came back from Italy, and I think they bought like a 500 wheel of cheese, 500-pound wheel of cheese. I'm not joking. Okay, the damn wheel looked like it goes on a tractor, a John Deere. And how much does that cost, man? Just a ship. And he goes, it was only this much. And he goes, it actually breaks down to a good price. I said, I actually think you're right. But so the people are so loud, so abrasive. The food is so fantastic. The women there are very aggressive. I was talking to one mom, and they have this argument about, was it Middle Jersey, Northern Jersey, and Southern Jersey, or Central Jersey, Northern Jersey, and Southern Jersey, and no one wants to accept the other one. So in Northern Jersey, they don't talk to the Central Jersey. Central Jersey doesn't talk to Southern. Southern doesn't talk to the other two. And so they're all, it's basically like an inner gang fight or something. It's fantastic. And so this one mom came up to me and I said, hey, so are you from here? And we were, I guess, in Central Jersey. She goes, I would never be from Central Jersey. It's like, okay. And then she started like getting closer to me as she's talking and getting more aggressive. And I couldn't tell, is she going to hit me or is she going to try to kiss me? So I don't know what I was going to do, duck and dive or what's going on, but a very, very cool place. New Jersey might be my number 3 behind Idaho and Montana. Just a big, big fan of it. I've never been there in the deep summer or the deep winter, but the food and the people alone are absolutely phenomenal. All right, so let's move on. Accept and embrace. Accept and embrace. Okay, here we go. So where was I? As I just told you for 10, 11 minutes, I spend a lot of time traveling, lots and lots of time traveling. So last week was spring break. What do I want to do for spring break? I want to do nothing. I want to sit on my back porch, watch the sunrise, watch the sunset. I want to do nothing. I don't want anyone talking to me. I don't want to listen to anything. I listen to some music, maybe a couple podcasts, but I just want to sit, not travel, not do anything. Of course, my wife loves to travel. So this puts me in kind of a pickle. Okay, because right now in Idaho, it's still quote unquote cold. Right now, it's about 65 degrees outside. I actually have the window open, a fan going. So it's a little bit warm for me, but it's not, there's no humidity. But usually people in Idaho, it's spring break, they want to get the hell out. They want to go someplace warm. So my wife says, hey, found a good deal. We're going to go with the neighbors. We're going to go to Hawaii. I tell her, she goes, are you excited? I go, literally not one bit. She goes, you're not excited to go to Hawaii? I go, honey, I've been traveling for 7 straight weekends, been in hotels every single weekend. The last thing I want to do is get on a plane to travel for 7 hours on a plane, sitting like, crunched over, because going with my family, they're going to kill my status. So I would normally get bumped up to first class because I fly so much. They're going to keep me back in steerage with the animals. So she says, are you excited? No, not really. But I have to accept and embrace it because my wife likes to travel and I know my kid wants to go, and our neighbors, who shall not be mentioned, backed out on us, but they did send their kid, and I'm going to talk about him in a little bit as well. We went and it was a good time. It was fun. The Hawaiian people, absolutely phenomenal. I love them. If you've never met any Hawaiians, very giving people. I did a lesson with this one family while I was there. And while I was doing the lesson for 90 minutes, the mom goes in and bakes enough to give Willy Wonka diabetes. She made these s'mores bars. I'll try to put a picture up on social media. Holy hell. They were absolutely phenomenal. My kids ate them. Gabe ate them. That was the other kid, the neighbor kid of the neighbors that shall not be mentioned. Nonstop for breakfast. So much that the dad had to bring us more before we left, because I was like, hey, man, you got to give us some more, because the kids ate them all. They were absolutely phenomenal. So shout out to the Beard family. Now, when you travel with new people, this is where you get to learn a lot about people, because I admit traveling with me is a nightmare because I have my routines. Okay. I have my routines. I like to do what I'm doing. I like to get right on the plane right away, simply because I usually carry 2 carry-on bags. I'm the carry-on guy right now. I don't check any bags. My wife will check literally an entire suitcase of shoes. I don't do that anymore. I don't trust the airlines. And plus, I want to get in. I want to get out. Worst case scenario, I've got stuff that, I've got my 9 pairs of chonies. I don't need to do that. I'm not doing this. So I understand that I have my routines. I have my headphones on, my sunglasses on. Follow me, keep up. If you don't, I'm going to lose you, because I'm so used to traveling alone. So we're traveling with my wife, Jolie, Damon Dale, who's a freshman. He travels a lot, so he's very used to it. He travels enough now where he gets on a plane and he's not in first class because he got bumped up. He gets pissed. If there's no TV in the headrest, he's pissed. And then we're traveling with Gabe. That's the kid of the neighbors that need not be mentioned because they backed out. The nicest, kindest kid you've ever met. I mean, unbelievably kind heart. I said he's going to work with special needs kids. He's going to work with puppies, or he's going to work with like injured dolphins, because his heart is so kind. He's basically a complete opposite of my kid. So it was very interesting to watch. But this dude doesn't travel. Like I think he's been on. I'd be willing to say no more than 5 flights in his entire life. So he had seats 10A, 10B, and 10C, and he has his own ticket, which his parents backed out of. No, we won't talk about that anymore. But he's at seat 14. So Damon gets A right next to the window. Jolie gets B. I get C because I want the aisle because I want to just peel off into the outside. So Gabe's right behind us. We sit down. Damon, Jolie, myself. I sit down. Gabe's right behind us. There's 50 people behind him. I look up at Gabe. Gabe looks up at me or looks down at me. I look up at Gabe. He looks down at me. This goes on for 4 to 5 seconds. I finally go, Gabe, what are you doing, bud? He goes, what do I do next? I go, Gabe, you know how the numbers work? He goes, yeah. I goes, 14 before or after 10? He goes, after. I go, keep moving, bud. And Jolie goes, you're such an ass. And I go, well, how do you, the numbers can only go one way here. You just look it up. You see the numbers, you keep on rolling. And she brought me down to reality. Rubio, he doesn't travel as much as you. And I said, okay. But on my travels, I found a new person that I hate. I've told you about, person that whistles, which I've had one of those on, a person that wants to talk to you. That's why I go on with headphones and sunglasses because I don't want anyone talking to me. There's a new person that I hate. I even told you about Backpack Guy. Backpack Guy is one of my arch nemesis where he just carries around backpack and he's just swinging that thing like it's going out of style. My next one is Backpack Toddler that parents think they're doing everyone a favor and teaching this kid a lesson by letting him carry or roll his own little carry-on suitcase. No one wins in this situation, parents. Teach your kid that lesson in the backyard. No one wants to see your 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7-year-old with a backpack filled with God knows what, cheeses, gummy bears, Legos, toys, swinging that bad dog around where you can barely carry it because you're too cheap to check the luggage or you won't carry it yourself. And we don't care that he has little My Little Pony or Transformer or Mr. Beast rolling suitcase as a carry-on. You carry it because your kid is an animal. He's like a cat on speed in the dark. No one wants to see this kid. We don't think it's cute. I can't even tell you how many times my shins/toes have been taken out by these little guys or girls. I'm equal opportunity. I hate them both. And if I see them, I will literally run the other way. Okay. Not saying that I've tried to trip them because I don't want to get too close to them. Because if they see my foot out, it's like a target. So I won't even try to trip them. They're my new enemy 1A. I will try to get some photos of them with my next trip. I don't know if I'm allowed to. I don't know if that's like a pedophile thing, but it's one of those things where they're my new number 1 hated enemy is toddler with backpack and or carry-on suitcase. If they have both, just run like the wind. That's a hot cancer coming your way. You don't want that. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. The next thing to enjoy when you're accepting and embracing on an airplane is teens and parents. Because teens know everything, parents know nothing. And I can't even tell you how many teens parents I saw. We were in Spokane Airport, and this dad, he was there probably a couple hours early. He was telling his kid must have been 16 or 17. Hey, let's go, Johnny. Let's go. Let's get moving. We got to go. We got to check in. And this kid just looked disheveled. He had pajamas on, looked like a slob, but he was a typical teenager. The dad's like, dude, we got to go check in. We got to go check in. He goes, hold on, Dad. I got to tie my shoe. And as this kid bends down and does slow motion. And he's looking right at his dad, and he's and I actually walked by and kind of laughed because I was like, dude, I feel your pain. I mean, I'd have kicked my kid in the throat if Jolie wasn't looking, but it was one of those things that it was extremely funny. And every single parent on a trip, if they don't do this, they're just lying. All they're doing is telling their kid something, yelling at their kid about something, or dropping threats. That's the 3 things the parents do the most. Anyone that says, oh my God, we had the best trip ever. It was so much fun. Johnny and Angel, she was the best. Johnny was so great. We did this. We played ping pong all to the wee hours of the night. They're 100% lying. Okay. I do a lot of people watching when I'm on trips, and it's one of those things where you can see that every single parent is just do this, or I'm going to do this to you. I will take this away. I will do that. And you got to accept and embrace it because it just makes it funny at this point, and it's hilarious. So let's move on to actually that was theirs or winners and losers life. Now we're going to accept and embrace. Okay. So accept and embrace. What I did like about the trip was the beauty of Hawaii. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's no doubt about it. The people of Hawaii. 100% phenomenal. Love them. They're so nice. They're very family oriented. I could 100% see myself living there if you put me like in the hills. Okay, where we were was just too crowded. There's too many people. I don't need that many people in my life. There was just I don't need to be sitting at a pool with 500 other people that I don't want to know. I don't care. I don't care if they're interesting. And it's one of those things. Rubio, you're at a pool. What if there's some hot chicks walking by? Yeah, then I get in trouble for looking. No, nice try, dude. Okay, I'm not that dumb. It's one of those things where there's just no win. I don't like it. I do like seeing different groups of people and the different cultures, because when you go to a place like Hawaii, there's, you can sit around a pool and see legit probably 40, 50 different cultures. And it's incredible to see. If you go to a restaurant, it's the exact same way, where there's just so many people and you just look around. And I'm one of those that I'll just study a family when I'm there. It's kind of weird. I'm always wearing sunglasses so they can't tell, but just kind of looking at them the entire time and saying, okay, I get this. And the more people you end up talking to, because my wife's a talker, she'll end up talking to everyone. You start to understand different cultures, and you start to think, okay, I could travel to this place. Because one of the guys I'm going to talk about a little bit later talk about Japan, and I was like, I do not want to go to Japan, dude. And he goes, well, from here it's only like 7-hour flight. I was like, I think I could do another 7-hour flight. He says, so go to Hawaii for like 3 or 4 days, then you go to Japan. I go, I could do that, because 15, 16, 17 hours on a plane, not my style. Unless I get like that Uber first class where it's basically a Cadillac in the sky for each person, I could do that. But he was talking about Japan, how great it was. And I was like, I could probably do that because of the food, the culture, very, very clean, the very, very polite people. I could do that. I like that a lot. So that's one of the things. So accept and embrace is not a big category. We're going to move on to the next one. Working hard is not enough. Working hard is not enough. All right. Been waiting to tell this story since the moment it happened. My wife loves to go on tours. She loves to travel. She loves to do those tours. The stupid bus tours that everyone does when they go to like Hollywood or anywhere they're going. My wife loves those things. Like those are her dreams. I hate them. Okay. Because once again, you're surrounded by other people. Too crowded, too many people, blah, blah. And she's built like a corgi, so she's got leg room all the time, and she's got enough space. Not a big fan, but she wants to take the kids to Pearl Harbor. Sure, I'm 100% in for the troops. Okay, you got to learn about your history. Let's go. So we get into this Uber, and I've taken, no joke, probably 2,000-3,000 Uber drives in my life. I'm going to go on record saying this is by far the most unique Uber drive I've ever had. We get in, and there's probably a 65-year-old white dude, clean cut, good looking guy, probably an athlete back in his day, healthy guy. Immediately he says, hey, he's got a Ziploc bag, gallon bag of lifesavers. You guys want some lifesavers? Bloop, bloop. I said, no, man, I'm good. To me, I'm all for a good lifesaver. I know my kids are. I know the queen is, Jolie. But accepting lifesavers, even from an Uber driver, not my thing. It's not the dirtiness thing. I don't know. This guy be a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And I don't know if you were listening. I said something after what he said. But I thought the same thing. Like I thought I heard something, but I just kind of let it go, because I'm in the passenger seat, the 3 in the back. So I'm 3 feet from this guy. We'll just call him Larry, because that's his name. He says, so where are we off to? Pearl Harbor, huh? Bloop, bloop. I look again. At this point, I'm thinking, did he say something after his final words? So I'm waiting again. I go, yeah, we're going to Pearl Harbor. You've been there a lot this week. How's the weather? Because they had just gotten through their big rainstorm thing. Oh, yeah, you guys have great weather right now. Bloop, bloop. I look over. Now, there's no doubt that this dude just said bloop, bloop, B-L-O-O-P, B-L-O-O-P. There's no doubt. I'm looking back at my family, and they're losing their minds. The 2 teenage boys, they're doing that thing where if you like laugh in church and the other one, you just can't stop laughing. So they're like holding it into the point where they're going to fart or piss themselves. My wife's like, okay. So at this point, he keeps talking. And after every single thing he says, he ends with bloop, bloop. Now, if it's something sad, like, oh, yeah, you guys are going to Pearl Harbor. That was a sad day. Bloop, bloop. If it's a happy thing, wow, look at those girls over there. Bloop, bloop. And I'm this close to saying, dude, what's with the bloop, bloop? But I stop myself because not only am I a nice guy, but I'm a considerate guy. And I start to think to myself, what if it's got Tourette's? What if this is like his tick? You know, some people have the shade, some people are dropping F bombs, whatever. What if his thing is just he says bloop bloop? And I can't make fun of that. So he just keeps going and keeps going. And he's bloop blooping the hell out of the story. Every damn sentence he says it, even if it's something like, oh, we're going to make this red, bloop bloop, just silently because there was no inflection needed. So finally he says, hey, are you guys on TikTok? We're like, yeah. He goes, oh, I'm a Aloha influencer for Hawaiian Islands. I'm bloop bloop Larry. We're like, oh. And he goes, yeah, I have this bloop bloop song. If you're happy and you know it, say bloop bloop. And then, of course, my wife, she loves to do crap like that. She's like, bloop bloop. And I'm like, I still think we're being filmed at this point. And if you're happy and you know it, say bloop 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 bloop. My wife in the back crooning. And the two kids are just giggling their butts off. So finally he says, oh yeah. And the best part about my job, and he wasn't making fun. He was kind of making fun, but he wasn't like ridiculing them. He goes, that I deal with so many different ethnicities out here. He goes, certain ethnicities can't say bloop bloop. We're like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, you know, there's a heavy Asian influence here. They can't do else. And he goes, here, well, let me show you. And so I actually downloaded one of his TikToks. So you can see bloop bloop Larry, one of the most entertaining Uber drivers I've ever had. Okay, so this is Bloop Bloop Larry, and he's on Super Bowl Sunday, and he's going to be singing the Bloop Bloop song with this Asian couple. God love them.
Bowl Sunday, let's go Hawks! Woo! I have some friends from Korea. We're going to sing our happy song. That means Seahawks will win. If you're happy and you know it, say bloop bloop.
Bloop bloop.
If you're happy and you know it, say bloop bloop.
Bloop bloop.
If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, say bloop bloop.
Bloop bloop.
Aloha, have a fun, guys.
That could be one of the top 5 funniest things I've ever seen. And it's not because he's making fun of him, just they can't say it. And he's just bloop bloop Larry. And he does it with like 90% of the people that came in. The kids were a little upset. Well, my wife was really upset that we didn't get filmed. I would have been like, I'm bloop blooping out of here. But that's my first bloop bloop Larry ride. Very entertaining. Check him out on TikTok. Unbelievable. And so the second ride, we're going, my wife likes to get tours of places, like I already said. So we're going to rent a car. Rubio, you drive us all around in a minivan. Like, I don't really want to drive in a place that I'm not familiar. Plus, I drive enough. I don't want to drive. She says, okay, so let's find a place. So we contact the Beard family again. They say, hey, try this Hawaiian Rainbow Tours. Hawaiian Rainbow Tours. We contact this guy, and his name is Paolo Magatti. Paolo Magatti. Here he is. Hawaiian Rainbow Tours. Hawaiian Rainbow Tours. Okay. Hawaiian Rainbow Tours. Paolo Magatti. Absolutely phenomenal. He gave us I think it was a 6-hour tour that was unbelievable. He was very, very good. What was unique was he talked pretty much nonstop, which I'm okay with. Normally I'd be out with, but when I'm on a tour, I want you to tell me every single thing you know, even if you're lying to me. I don't even care because I'm not going to double fact check it. But if you're just like, see that tree? Oh yeah, Kevin Costner took a dump behind that tree once on the set of Waterworld. Fantastic. I want you to lie to me nonstop. But he was half Japanese, half Italian, which I said, that's pretty damn good. Food Worlds. He goes, oh yeah, great Food Worlds. His dad was this big Italian dude. Okay. And his mom was this little Japanese lady. He was the dad, staunch Catholic, the mom, super strict Buddhist. What the hell kind of mix is that? So he took us to this Buddhist temple to check it out. Absolutely phenomenal. Got the drum, saw Buddha and all that stuff. And he gave us the history of that. And he was saying how, since he's Italian, he's got all these emotions and he wants to jump in and he's high powered, blah, blah, blah. But since he's Buddhist, sometimes he has to bring himself down, which I thought was very, very, very cool. I thought it was just one of those things that it was so unique, and he did just a great, great job. I wanted to give him a good shout out. And it's very, very cool. If you have the opportunity to go around with someone who actually knows the island, he's been doing it for like 13 years and gives you the insight of it. Like I said, if half of the stuff was real, fantastic. I'm pretty sure like 99% of it was real. You could tell he'd been doing it a long time because every place we went to, they all knew him, and he knew them. So it was just wonderful. I thought it was incredible. So I thought that was great. The last thing we're going to go to, this will be a shorter show, obviously. Confidence is the key. Hawaii. You think of Hawaii, you think of sun, you think of rainbows, you think of beach. Confidence is the key. At a beach, you will never see more confident human beings. And I don't know if it's confidence or ignorance or maybe a splash of both, but God love them, they're doing it. I'm talking about the dude who's, let's say, 5'5", 350, wearing a bathing suit. Shouldn't be wearing a bathing suit. God love him. I don't know if he's too dumb to know that, maybe no, or he's just that confident. Soak it all in, baby. I'm here. Same thing with the ladies. Can't even tell you how many chicks I saw, let's say 5'4", 350, 360, bathing suit holding on for dear life. God love them. I don't know. Once again, is it confidence? Are they blind? Do they do what they got to do? I mean, it's not my thing, but for other people, God love them. Confidence is definitely their key. And then there's another aspect of confidence is the key. I've told you before, I am not a mechanical human being. Okay. My wife she even sees like me holding a wrench, pliers, screwdriver, whatever. She goes, no, put it down. Put it this way. We got a bed cover for the back of a truck, and I was opening it up, going to put it on. She goes, oh, whoa, what are you doing? Put it down. Like almost started cussing me out. Put it down now. Like, what's the matter? She goes, you're going to end up messing it up. It's going to cost double because we're going to have to pay for another one, and then we're going to just hire someone. She goes, just put it down. You're not touching it. Okay, it's fine. I won't touch it. And we actually had one of my friends put it on, and he did it right the first time. So that's there. So on that, if my kids said, hey, Dad, say this was a thing. In Hawaii, everyone brought engines to the beach. And one of the pastimes, instead of playing Frisbee or smash ball, whatever the hell people do, it's like, hey, let's fix that engine. You know what I would say? No, I'm not doing it. Because I don't know how to. It'd be one of those, I don't know how to fix it. I'm not going to fix it. I don't know what I'm doing. So why would I try to do something that I simply cannot do? So therefore, I don't want to make myself look like an idiot. Number two, I can't do it. It's not a matter of confidence. It's a matter of, I know my limits. I'm saying that because I feel like there has to be someone out there that tells man or woman, if your kid wants to play catch with you with a football, baseball, volleyball, Frisbee, and you don't have any athletic prowess at all, just say no. Because number one, you're going to hit someone because you don't know what you're doing. Number two, you look really bad. Number three, you should have started training for this earlier. If you're going to the beach in Hawaii and you've obviously not planned it the day before, and you know you're going to be at the beach and you have zero athletic ability, maybe start throwing around the old pigskin a couple months before. Maybe watch some YouTube videos on how to throw a football. Maybe dislocate your own shoulder so you don't have to. But this is one of those things that I don't want to see. It hurts to see. I feel bad for, this is where the empathetic part of me comes out, where I look and I go, come on, dude. You know you can't throw that ball that far. And the kid, little Johnny keeps going back farther. And we're not talking miles. We're talking like 12, 15, 20 yards. But, the dad's limit is maybe 3 to 4. And poor dad is trying to throw it, and he just looks like he put his feet on his hands and his knees where his elbows should be and just doesn't know what he's doing. I feel like that should just stop for everyone. No one should do that. That's all I have to say about that. The bottom line for all of you watching now or listening on iTunes, Spotify, or, on YouTube and all those good things, is just the stuff that you should have learned without even realizing you learned it. Number one, go out and travel. I know it's miserable and I know you have these bad stories, but you got to turn all the bad stories into just good moments. So go out and travel. Number two, learn some things. As much as I don't like to, learn about some other cultures. It'll really open your mind. And like I said, it's one of those where you learn about other cultures and you can say, hey, yeah, I'm in. I'd like to go there, or zero chance. You know, because there were some cultures I saw, they go, there's zero chance I'm going to their place. I'm just not doing it. And the third one for the bottom line, know your limits. I say that for every adult man or woman that shouldn't be in a bathing suit or shouldn't be throwing a football. On that note, thanks for watching episode 118 of the Rubio Method. If you have any questions, you can always email rubio@therubiomethod.com. We'll be back hopefully next Tuesday. I think what's 7 days from now. So it'll be probably April 14th, next Tuesday. All right. I'm out.